Well, what you've had a chance to witness kind of through this process is me opening a box that was sent to me by Goodwill of Santa Rosa, California. And this is a machine that a customer bought, and kind of like Mike and others recently, this machine was just sent directly to the workshop. And you can readily see what this customer got. Customer is Margaret. She got a Featherweight. And I wouldn't say the packing is horrific. It certainly is better than what we saw when we unpacked Mike's machine, that's for sure. But it'll be fun, I think, to sit down to this and see exactly what Margaret ended up getting. You can see here, it looks like it may have been rewired, so that's a plus. The foot control. Pop this presser foot up. See if I can get that needle all the way up. I'll kind of move around a little bit so you can look at this machine. Not too bad, actually, at initial glance. Over here we again have the top tray that goes in the top of the case. All kinds of interesting things in there. And there's our foot controller. And we've got a closer look at Margaret's Featherweight 221. Now your head isn't crooked. That spool pin on top is bent slightly to the right. Again, you saw the amount of padding that they had for the machine, and it was strictly on the edges and the top. So the machine, in all likelihood, bounced around a fair amount coming all the way from California to Wisconsin. The filigree and the decaling, I can see why Margaret purchased this machine from Goodwill online. Looks pretty good. Actually, it looks quite good. A little bit missing there, not much. Now let's take a look at the back of the machine. Again, I am a huge proponent of Goodwill and what they do. So I'm very pleased that some very generous individual elected to donate their Featherweight 221 to benefit the programs at Goodwill. And Margaret took the initiative to bid on it, to win it, and then had the wisdom to say, don't send it to me, send it to Scott. Send it to the workshop in Wisconsin. I think the word's going to get out to Goodwill pretty quick. Who is this Scott guy that all these people are buying machines from us and then having them send the machine directly to this fella in Wisconsin? And heard something through the grapevine about this guy being the sewing machine whisperer, but I don't know about that. So all in all, I think that Margaret made a good purchase from the aesthetic standpoint, from what we can see so far. I'm going to see if I can real quick, based on what I'm seeing with the foot control, potentially having been upgraded, because this wire here is going to be a gauge wire that you wouldn't have seen that typically on featherweights coming directly out of the gate. So let's see if we can fire this up and see what we might get. It's a little terrifying, isn't it? And by the way, what did you think of that waltz that I played? Again, I think a first for this channel. I don't believe that we've done specifically, excuse me for a second, I don't believe we've specifically done any waltzes on this channel before. I don't believe so. Nice bright light. I'm going to have to check that and make sure that it doesn't exceed the number of watts that is recommended for the featherweight, which is, you don't want to go much higher than 25 watts. So it's a nice bright light. We go ahead and push the foot control and hope for no sparks or anything else odd. As a matter of fact, we'll take the load, most of the load off the motor. We'll just turn the balance wheel to start. And I keep turning my screen the wrong direction. I'm getting some sort of a, there we go. Let's rotate that up, then we won't get that awful grinding sound. This obviously has not been lubricated real well, so it's grinding quite a bit. Can you hear that? Listen real carefully. You'll hear the motor kind of fluttering up and down. I'm also hearing the gears on the bottom of this featherweight. I can hear metal to metal, which is telling me that they're probably real dry. Let me zoom in on that the motor in the belt for you real quick. I'm going to turn the machine like this. You're going to see some wavering on that belt on the rear of the machine, which could be a pulley or could be just a tension issue as far as that belt. Let's see. So you're getting a lot of vibration there. I'm all the way down as far as it'll go right now. So we definitely have some motor opportunities from a standpoint of taking that motor apart and cleaning it, because we're not nearly getting, yes, it's a 0.4 amp motor, but we're not nearly getting the power that we should be from this featherweight with 0.4 amps. You've seen some of my featherweights sew 2 to 3 layers of leather, and this machine would not be up for that task right now. Let's see what we get down at the needle. So power down at the needle is not bad at all, but I'm hearing metal to metal again. This machine probably was sitting for quite a while. It hasn't been lubricated, it hasn't been serviced, it hasn't been given a detailed deep cleaning. But the good news is that motor, all in all, is a motor that I can definitely work with, and that's going to be able to ultimately deliver some real good power to the sewing that Margaret's looking to do. Again, the filigree and the decaling is looking good. We've got some taping or gummy stuff on the paint, and just the overall look of the paint is real dull. I think you can see that. Lots of dirt on there as well that we're going to have to deal with through a deep cleaning. But again, I think all in all, and we haven't tried sewing with it yet, but I think all in all, the initial impressions of this Featherweight 221 that Margaret bought from Goodwill online, the specific area that she got it from was Santa Rosa, California, is a positive one. I think that this machine is definitely going to have some potential. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with this case, though. I showed you that case hinge, and it may have been like that when Margaret got it, but this case hinge on the left side is actually separated from the lid itself. These pins, hopefully I can just tap them back in, but this one is also bent as well on the right side. So I have to see. I see my shot wasn't wide enough to see what I was looking at, but this one obviously is really loose, and that again is an evidence of this thing being jostled around quite a bit when it was being shipped. If you prepare a featherweight, if I prepare a featherweight for shipment, you're always going to see me strap from top to bottom to hold that lid nice and tight once these are snapped, so that even if these were to come loose, because these are just pinned on either side into the wood frame on the inside of that cover, you know, you're going to see that I'm going to strap it on both sides in case anything happens catastrophic. This lid is not going to open up and expose that little featherweight to some possible damage, extra damage. I see we also, you can't see it off camera right now, but I see we do have some bubbling up. I just felt it kind of with my finger, and you can see that tension control is obviously also going to come off and be disassembled. You can see all the dirt and everything on that side right over there, but this is I think that's the area that I was touching. Let me double check here. No, it's higher up. It's by the thread guide. Where are we right now? There we are. And actually you can even see it in the camera there. So we'll have to see what we can do with that. This part right here is an evidence of where that that paint is beginning to separate. The clear coat is probably gone, and we'll have to see if we can clean that up a little bit, but there may not be a huge amount that we can do to that, unfortunately. I'm going to shut this light off for right now because it's generating a lot of heat. I'm guessing that that bulb may be a little bit higher than 25 watts. And we'll just carefully, actually let me grab my little pillow and we'll lay this featherweight on the side real quick. Actually I'll grab some bubble wrap, that's even closer. And we'll just look at the bottom. Oh yeah, that's definitely a bigger bulb. I just burned my hand a little bit with it. That's probably about a 40 watt bulb on that machine. So here we're kind of looking at the bottom of this Featherweight 221. Definitely has not gotten a deep cleaning. I can only imagine if we take that cover off what we might find, and we'll probably do that. Also going to check that wiring as well. And you can see the foot pedestals on this Featherweight 221 have eroded away. That's pretty common because of the composition of that rubber that they use, and you can just see all the filth and the dirt on the bottom of this 221. And let's see if we can zero in on our serial number here. There's the serial number if anyone wants to look that up and post what the birth date of this Featherweight 221 is that Margaret got from Goodwill online out of Santa Rosa, California. There's the serial number. Looks like, here, I'll even get closer. I think you can see that. Looks like AH664204, something like that. Your eyes might be better than mine, so if you're seeing a different serial number than I just said, you can look that one up. So we'll just pull that bottom off real quick and just see if we get any outrageous discoveries. Hopefully not. Let's see what we find. Oh my goodness, somebody actually cranked this on so tight that I cannot open it up by hand. I'm going to have to use a tool to pop that open. Let me go ahead and grab a tool and we'll see if we can get that open real quick. If you ever have that happen, you don't want to use vice grips directly on the metal to metal, because it's going to, the metal on there is going to end up either fracturing or it's going to end up getting marred. So you just grab a simple cosmetic pad or something similar to that, put your tool over the top of it. When you cinch down, just put down enough pressure that you're going to be able to grip it without crushing it, because that's just basically molded metal, a molded metal piece that's on there. So we don't want to damage it. And we've got it loose now. Put this back in my workbench. And let's see if I can put on another piece for us to listen to, a little bit more waltz music, while we are continuing to explore this Featherweight 221 that Margaret got from Goodwill online. Let's see what this one's like. This one's called the Premier, which seems appropriate since you're watching a premiere, huh? Yeah, somebody really cranked that on much tighter than it needs to be. This is nothing more than an oil pan on the bottom to catch the extra oil that, let me turn this down a little bit. Nothing more than an oil pan to catch that extra oil. So I mean, it doesn't have to be ratcheted on like you're going to be taking this thing to outer space or something like that. So I'm going to put this like this just so you can see the bottom. Hopefully you can see it. I'll do like this maybe. This thing has been really oiled to death. Which means an extra inspection as far as the, you can see it even from this distance. You know, I've said it before, folks, more is not always good. More is not always the best plan. Yeah, this has gotten so saturated that it actually caused that liner on the inside to separate. That's why you still see that. Come on, camera. There's the liner right there. It's still kind of attached to the machine, sort of. Yeah, that thing is soaked. Oh my gosh. Kind of go like that. Yeah, those gears are totally dry. This is going to be a time-consuming process to get all this extra oil and gook out of there. And these are the gears I'm talking about right here, these worm gears down here. Right now they're just covered in filth. There should be a light coat of grease on those because they spin at a high revolution. When we were just pushing the foot control, those suckers are metal to metal. Right now there's the interlacing one just underneath where that wire is right there. You can just barely see it. But I really have to commend Margaret for having the machine come directly here, because she could have sat down to it and started sewing with it, and there could have been some damage resulting from this, because right now those gears are just absolutely bone dry. And this thing has been saturated in oil big time. So it's another project, but this one will have to get put to the side for a little bit, because my next project on the workbench is going to be, turn the light on over here so I can pan over here real quick, is going to be this hand crank 66 red eye. You saw this in that video where I was sewing that biothane. Do you remember that? We sewed biothane on this model 66 red eye. We sewed it on the 301, I believe. Yeah, with 301. And then we also sewed it on the 19 Special, the Husqvarna 19 Special on a Minnesota that belongs to Reed. But I didn't do this as a standalone with a variety of sew-offs. So I'm going to do that to introduce this machine also as one that is going to be available for sale. So, and along with that, I've also got to do the final preps, the finalization, if I get in the right area. I've got to do the finalization for Dan's Rolls-Royce of Singers, the 201-2, that's going to be heading to Hawaii. Matter of fact, that might even trump working on this 66 red eye to get this one ready for sale, because I really am anxious to do the finalization on Dan's 201-2 and then do a premiere on that machine and then get that one heading towards Hawaii. As a matter of fact, I should show Dan, who I'm sure as a faithful follower is watching this premiere as well, that I even went to the effort for that particular premiere featuring Dan's machine. That's one of the few premieres where I am not going to be wearing my DeWalt jacket. I'm going to be wearing this really cool Hawaiian shirt, and it's a genuine Hawaiian shirt. If I can zoom in and you can see it, I got this online. It's Evergreen Island, and it's actually made in Hawaii, because Dan and I had talked offline a little bit, and we're just talking about how excited he is about this premiere, and can I pick out some Hawaiian or island music, which I've already been working on. But I decided to take it a step even further, and I'm also going to pull off my DeWalt jacket for Dan's premiere when we do that, and I'm going to wear this, I'm going to darn this Hawaiian, authentic Hawaiian shirt for Dan's premiere. So, but again, I think that Margaret, number one, again, kudos to Margaret for supporting Goodwill. Kudos to Mike. We've also had others recently as well that, matter of fact, the young lady that sent me that Viking 10M, and I am totally brainless right now as to what her first name is, and I hope she'll forgive me for that. But that machine also came from Goodwill as well. But again, there's different Goodwills, obviously. They're not all going to be from the same locales. They're all across the nation. I'm cheating right now to see if I can find that customer's name, because I feel like an absolute nincompoop for not remembering what her name is. But, oh goodness gravy. Aha! Ahahaha! Catherine Eves. Catherine Eves. Folks, I just got like another 8 machines in the workshop, so I am just up to my eyeballs right now and just scrambling. And, you know, treading water, fine, but it's been crazy busy, which is wonderful. But Catherine Eves is the other one that bought a machine from Goodwill and sent that machine to me as well. So lots of business that you folks, I think, are really wisely giving. Here we have another waltz. This one is called Mary Andra's Waltz. Mary Andra's Waltz. This is a little bit more somber, and that's okay because we're wrapping this video up. So between Mike and Cathy, or Catherine, and now Margaret, we've had 3 machines just in the last month that have come from Goodwill online. So that's kind of a treasure trove of vintage machines, and I don't know what folks are getting them for, if they're getting them for a steal, or if they're having to spend and invest a fair amount and then turning around and having the machine come to the workshop to be set up right, so when they sew at it, they're all good to go. But regardless, we're supporting, collaboratively, we're supporting a great mission with Goodwill Online, and there's certainly probably other nonprofits out there as well that are doing similar things. And as long as they end up coming to the workshop so that I can go through them and get them just right, then I think everybody wins. You remember when we were looking at Catherine's machine, there was a major wiring issue with it, so you just never know. It's better to be safe than sorry, that's for sure. So Margaret, this is your 221. Well, it's your 221 having fallen over on the side, but that's okay because it's going to be just as it should be, just like we've done for Mike's, and we just got done doing for Cathy, Catherine Eves. We're now going to do for Margaret Abel. So appreciate you folks, and stay tuned for other great videos like this where we have a chance to maybe do another unboxing and have a chance to see a machine that's, that ultimately is going to go to that customer, but I'm the first one to see it, and you're the first ones to see it even before they do, because it's coming directly from that seller to the workshop. So God bless you guys, and thanks so much for being faithful followers of this channel and also of my Facebook page as well. All right, take care. Bye.